Hi everyone, welcome to the class. So in the present class, we'll try to learn about the next important class of biomolecule. It is nucleic acids. Now, what are nucleic acids? So we know that in the nucleus, the genetic material which is responsible for transferring the character from one generation to another generation is stored in the form of nucleic acids. So, along with the proteins, the nucleic acids will be the components of chromosomes and are responsible for our heredity information. So, hence, the major role of nucleic acid, if we take, so they act as a genetic material. Nucleic acids or the biomolecules responsible for hereditary information. Such nucleic acids, if we take, so there are two types of nucleic acids. So they are deoxyribose nucleic acid and ribose nucleic acids. It is DNA, it is deoxyribose nucleic acid and RNA, that is ribose nucleic acid. So deoxyribose and ribose nucleic acid is considered as DNA and RNA. Now, if we take the nucleic acids as DNA or RNA, so these are the polynucleotides, that is, many nucleotides are joining together to form a polynucleotide chain. So that is building the DNA or RNA. So hence, the monomers building the nucleic acids are nucleotides. We need to understand in detail. So what is this nucleotide? How it is formed, all the aspects we'll try to learn in detail. So monomers of nucleic acids are nucleotides. Such many nucleotides will join to form a polynucleotide chain. Polynucleotides. So to consider the formation of DNA or RNA. Now, with simple composition of nucleic acid, we'll try to start the discussion for the concepts in detail. So, in brief, to learn, so nucleic acids are the biomolecules which are responsible for hereditary information, that is, the information necessary for the transferring of characters from one generation to another generation is stored in the form of DNA or RNA, so in the living organisms. So, such nucleic acids are present along with the proteins in chromosomes, so that is in nucleus. So I think everyone knows the proteins associated with nucleic acid. It is histone proteins. So along with the histone proteins, the wounding of the polynucleotide chain takes place. So to give the chromatids followed by the formation of chromosomes. Now we'll try to learn. So what is the chemical composition of nucleic acids? Chemical composition of nucleic acids. As we know, nucleic acids are made up of nucleotides. Many nucleotides will join together to form a polynucleotide chain. So that will be the major composition. Hence, if you take nucleic acids and if you completely hydrolyze the biomolecule, that is on complete hydrolysis of either DNA or RNA, So we are going to get three main products. So that will be the composition for the nucleic acids. So that is pentose sugar, a nitrogenous base, and a phosphoric acid. So it is the pentose sugar, nitrogenous base, and the phosphoric acid are the three components which we are going to see on complete hydrolysis of any nucleic acid, either DNA or RNA. So the combination of all these will leads to the various components. So from that we need to understand. So if we take, we learn what is the respective components in detail. Now pentose sugar will form the main basis. So where the nitrogen base will be combined to the pentose sugar to form a unit called nucleoside. So along with this nucleoside, so if the pentose sugar, a nitrogenous base, and a phosphoric acid, if it is joined together, so it leads to the formation of a nucleotide. So hence a nucleotide is a combination of a pentose sugar, a nitrogenous base with phosphoric acid. So actually the phosphoric acid in the form of phosphate will be joined to the respective unit. Now, these three will be considered as a nucleotide. So, the combination of a pentose sugar, a nitrogenous base, and a phosphoric acid will form a nucleotide. When a nitrogenous base combines with the pentose sugar, the unit formed is called as nucleoside. So, all the formation of nucleoside and nucleotide will try to learn with a supportive structure. So if we take the major composition of any nucleic acid, so nucleotides will be the monomer of nucleic acid. Such nucleotides, so if it is on complete hydrolysis, or if you take complete DNA or RNA and if you subject it to complete hydrolysis, they yield three types of components, that is pentose sugar, nitrogenous bases, and the phosphate moiety. So all these three together is forming a nucleotide as a repeating monomer unit of any polynucleotide chain. Now we'll start learning each of these composition parts individually. Now we'll start with the first one. It is the pentose sugar. Now, as we know from the carbohydrates concept, pentose refers to 5 carbon containing monosaccharide. So, due to the presence of 5 carbon atom, the sugar is considered as a pentose sugar. Now, if we consider in DNA nucleotides, the pentose sugar present in DNA is the exact chemical name. If we take, it is the beta sugar. Both in DNA and RNA, the pentose sugar present is beta. So it is with natural configuration of carbohydrates as D. So 2-deoxyribose, whereas the pentose sugar which is present in RNA is ribose sugar. In the case of DNA, so the sugar present is beta D2-deoxyribose, and the sugar which is present in RNA is ribose sugar. So you can easily remember with the help of structure. So first you can practice the RNA sugar, that is ribose sugar. Then if you remember this position where the deoxy refers to removal of oxygen takes place, Then you can write the deoxyribose sugar structure. So with the ribose sugar structure and deoxyribose sugar structure, you need to practice this, give importance for learning the structures. Now, as you all know that, so ribose sugar or pentose sugar to consider. So there will be 5 carbon atoms. So in the 5 carbon atoms, the cyclic ring, like you can practice, a furanose ring you can write. So in the ring, there will be 5 carbon atoms, that is 4 carbon atoms, and 1 carbon is present in the form of CH2OH. So when you are practicing the structure, so try to write the furanose ring structure first, then assign the numbers. So starting from this particular position, so it is 1, 2, 3, 4, and the fifth carbon you try to consider here. So starting from this right position, you can go on 1, 2, 3, 4 in the cyclic ring with oxygen, a furanose ring, and the fifth one, so above the plane. So then you keep on assigning. So for the ribose sugar, so you can consider, so as it is a beta, so both are beta sugars. So this sugar also chemically, if you take the name of the ribose sugar, if you consider chemically, so again it is beta configuration, as the naturally occurring carbohydrates are D, it is beta D ribose sugar. If you observe, so this first carbon is anomeric carbon atom to give that significance of beta, OH above the plane and H below the plane. So here the OH, so which is above the plane, indicates that, so it is beta configuration, so which is responsible for the interaction with the nitrogenous base. Hence try to remember simultaneously here. Then so you can write both at second and third carbon H above, OH below. So you can write with same information, H above and OH below for the second and third carbon atom respectively. And for the last, so CH2OH, you can write it above and you can write H below here. Again here the CH2OH is having significance. So because this is the respective carbon atom hydroxyl group, so with respect to the pentose sugar, which is going to participate in the formation of a nucleotide, so with the interaction of phosphate. So this is the structure of a pentose sugar as beta D ribose sugar. So beta to give, you can write OH above. Remaining second and third carbon atom, you can consider H above, OH below the plane. And at the fifth carbon, so above the plane, it is CH2OH and below it is hydrogen. So this is the structure of the pentose sugar. Now, once you practice this structure, so it is easy for you to remember the beta D2 deoxyribose. Now, if we take the beta D2 deoxyribose, again the positions, everything is same. So I will give the significance of this second position because here what the difference between the structure of DNA sugar and RNA sugar lies. Now if we consider the names, you can relate in the same way. Now this is the first carbon, second carbon, third carbon, fourth carbon, and the fifth carbon as CH2OH will be above the plane. Now if you take, so it is a beta sugar, hence OH above, H below. Then here CH2OH, H, here HOH, H. Now the name you can observe, it is beta D2 deoxyribose. At the second carbon, the oxygen is removed. Hence in the OH, so O is removed and you have only H. So that is the difference you are going to observe. So between the sugar of DNA and RNA. So it is 2-deoxyribose. So it is deox, that is normal ribose sugar. So where the second position carbon is having hydroxyl group in ribose sugar, whereas in the case of deoxyribose, at the second position, the carbon, so the hydroxyl group oxygen is deoxygenated, that is removal of oxygen. So similarly, so this hydroxyl group, like in DNA, that is in RNA, so it is involved in the interaction with nitrogenous base, and this hydroxyl group is going to interact with the phosphate to form the nucleotide. Now, these are the structures of ribose sugar and deoxyribose sugar. So practice the ribose sugar first. Then at the second position, you remove the oxygen and write only hydrogen. That will be the structure of the deoxyribose. So next important component of nucleic acids is the nitrogenous base. So as these are basic compounds with nitrogen containing heterocyclic rings, that is purine ring and pyrimidine rings. So these are the major constituents so of any nucleic acids as a nucleotide composition if we take. So if we take the DNA, the nitrogenous bases present in DNA is it is adenine, guanine, cytosine, and thiamine. You can observe THIAMINE is one of the vitamin B complex chemical name. THYMINE is a nitrogenous base. And try to concentrate clearly. So, or you can remember in simple as ATGC with the pairing concept. So A for adenine, T for thiamine, G for guanine, C for cytosine. So similarly, if we take the nitrogenous bases present in RNA, so it is adenine, guanine, cytosine, and instead of thiamine, we are going to see uracil as the nitrogenous base, so present in RNA. So AUGC. So what I am writing here within the bracket is with the pairing concept. So what it is mentioned, so it is the individual nitrogenous bases. So adenine, guanine, cytosine. So you can notice here, so which are the common nitrogenous bases between the DNA and RNA. Whereas thiamine is the only nitrogenous base seen in DNA, which is never found in RNA. So all these are one mark important question. So everyone knows this, but you try to concentrate to avoid confusion. So thiamine is the differentiating nitrogenous base. So with respect to DNA and RNA, which is seen only in DNA and it is not seen in RNA. Whereas uracil, again, it is the same. So, which is the differentiating nitrogenous bases from DNA and RNA. So, it is seen only in RNA but not in DNA. So, the remaining three nitrogenous bases are common for both DNA and RNA nucleotides. Now, so if we observe along with this information, so how these nitrogenous bases are chemically segregated. So we'll try to learn that. So chemically, the nitrogenous bases are classified into two types with their heterocyclic ring nature. So those are purines and pyrimidines. Nitrogenous bases are classified into purines and pyrimidines. So as the nitrogenous bases contain purine ring, so those nitrogenous bases are called as purines. And the nitrogenous bases with pyrimidine rings, they are called as pyrimidine respective compounds. Now, if we take purines, so adenine and guanine, so are purine ring containing. So whereas the remaining, it is cytosine, thiamine, and uracil are pyrimidines. Hence, purine ring containing nitrogenous bases are common for both DNA and RNA, whereas in the pyrimidine, cytosine is a nitrogenous base which is common in both DNA and RNA. So T and U is differentiation showing nitrogenous bases. So these informations you need to practice, all are important. So adenine and guanine, so that is considered as purine bases. So these are common in both DNA and in RNA. Similarly, so in the pyrimidine bases, cytosine is a common, so seen both in DNA and RNA nucleotides. Whereas if you take the thiamine, so thiamine is seen only in DNA. Similarly, uracil is seen only in RNA nucleotides. So if you remember this, so will be very important for your 1 mark question for the board exam to answer. Now, if it is comes for the competitive exams, so the chemical names of these are also important. So we'll try to learn that. So how to remember the chemical names with the structure as a supportive concept. Structures are not required to practice for board exam, but you can concentrate the structure for the competitive exams. So for board exam, the structures of nitrogenous bases will not be asked, but we'll concentrate what is the ring, so how we can remember with the help of ring the chemical names of these nitrogenous bases. Now we'll take the purine ring first. So when you are practicing the purine ring chemical name structure, so you can write a cyclohexane ring and a cyclopentane ring, but with nitrogen you need to write the structure. So you can write nitrogen here alternate in the cyclohexane ring. So purine ring to consider, it is a double membered ring. Another cyclopentane like ring you try to attach to it. So where you write nitrogen above one P. Now this is the purine ring. So purine ring is a double membered ring. So then numbering is very important here. So if you understand the number, then only the chemical name you can able to learn. So chemical name to learn, numbering you can start from here. So it is first position, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. From this nitrogen you go in the anti-clockwise direction to give the number, followed by, so you can consider the numbering from this nitrogen. So it is 7, 8, 9. Now if you remember this particular positions, it will be easy. So after remembering, you try to concentrate this ninth nitrogen where it is going to interact with the pentose sugar. So if you practice this ring structure, then you concentrate the chemical names, so easily you can remember. So we'll learn the first one, a purine base, it is adenine. So adenine is chemically known as 6-amino purine. 6-amino purine is the chemical name of adenine. That is at this sixth position. So if amino group is present, then this will be the structure of adenine. So in the purine ring, at the sixth position, so if amine group is there, then it is adenine. 6-amino purine to the purine ring at the sixth position, amino group is there. So then if we take guanine, if we take in the guanine, so I am writing in the same structure, you can focus clearly. So in guanine, So it is chemically known as 2-amino 6-oxypurine. That is, at the second position, you will be having an amine group, and at the sixth position, you are having oxy group. Oxy is double bond O, oxy group. Now, this will be the structure of guanine. So if sixth position is having amino group only at that substituent, like it is attached to the purine ring, so then it is adenine. So if there is amino group at second position and oxy group at sixth position, then it is called as guanine. So adenine and guanine can be easily remembered with their chemical names to the same ring how it is considered. Now, so we'll try to learn similarly with respect to pyrimidines. The pyrimidine ring we'll try to learn first, then we'll relate to the chemical names. Now, if we take the pyrimidine ring, so you are having a single ring, so you can consider the first ring of purine what you have written, cyclohexane ring like, so with two nitrogens, so you can consider as pyrimidine ring, but the numbering here you need to practice in a different way. So here the number starts from this particular nitrogen: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this you need to practice in a clockwise. Here we have considered in anti-clockwise. So this numbering is very important. So if you learn this, so easily you can understand the structures of nucleic acids. Now, N1 of pyrimidine base is important because it is going to interact with the pentose sugar. So here actually hydrogen will be there. Here also there will be hydrogen will be there with nitrogen. So this will be interacting with the hydroxyl group of pentose sugar to form a bond. So where a nucleoside is going to form from that. Now if we learn this pyrimidine ring structure, then we can concentrate the chemical names. So we know that so purine bases are adenine and guanine, which are common in both DNA and RNA nucleotides, whereas pyrimidine it is cytosine, thymine, and uracil, where cytosine is a common base. So the chemical name of cytosine we'll try to learn first. Cytosine is chemically known as it is 4-amino 2-oxypyrimidine. But don't get confused in the chemical names. So this will not be asked in the theory exam. So chemical names are important for only competitive exams. But you can observe the substituent attached to the ring will be only oxy and amino group. With position, if you remember, so you can easily concentrate for your competitive exam preparation. It is 4-amino 2-oxypyrimidine is chemical name of cytosine, the pentose sugar is going to attach to this with this first nitrogen hydrogen. Now 4-amino represent at the fourth position you are having amino group, and at the sixth, that is second position, you are having the oxy group. The second position having oxy and the fourth position is having amine group. So will be the structure of cytosine. Now we'll try to learn thymine. If we take thymine nitrogenous base, thymine is chemically known as, so it is 2,4 dioxy 5-methyl pyrimidine. So it is at the second and fourth position you are having dioxy, that is oxy groups, and at the fifth position you are having a methyl group. So this will be the structure of thymine. 2,4 dioxy 5-methyl pyrimidine will be the chemical name of thymine. And the last one, it is uracil. So uracil is not having this 5-methyl, remaining is common like thiamine. It is 2 comma 4 dioxypyrimidine. 2 comma 4 dioxypyrimidine is a chemical name of uracil. So the difference between thiamine and uracil is that in thiamine at fifth position there will be methyl group, whereas in uracil it is not there. So if you remember with the simple heterocyclic ring and its numbers, so that is numbering the ring system, then you can easily practice the chemical names. So whatever the structure is given to you, you should be able to identify that with this information. Hope this is clear. Now we'll try to move with the phosphate, how it is forming the nucleoside and nucleotide formation. Now here one simple information. If you observe, so we are having ring numbers in nitrogenous base as well as in pentose sugar. To differentiate these numbers, in nitrogenous base we'll write only the numbers, whereas in the pentose sugar, so we'll make the numbers with prime, that is 1 prime, 2 prime, 3 prime, 4 prime, like that. A prime number will try to add for each number in the cyclic ring. That we'll try to consider now. So with the formation of nucleoside, we'll try to take. We'll try to learn what is a nucleoside. So when a pentose sugar, either from DNA or RNA, so if it is interacted with a nitrogenous base, the interaction of pentose sugar with nitrogenous base, so will form a nucleoside. So hence nucleoside is the interaction of pentose sugar with nitrogenous base. So the structural wise, if you need to practice, so you need to learn the position. So in the pentose sugar, the 1 prime hydroxyl of pentose sugar will interact with N9 of purine base or N1 of pyrimidine base. So these will be the interacting points. So the N1 nitrogen of pyrimidine base or N9 nitrogen of purine base, so with their hydrogen, they are going to interact with 1 prime hydroxyl group of the pentose sugar. As a result, whatever the two interactions are taking place here, so the bond, resultant bond is linking the two components, and that linked component is called as nucleotide, that is nucleoside. Hence, nucleoside is formed by the interaction between the pentose sugar and a nitrogenous base of either DNA or RNA nitrogenous bases. Now we'll take with a simple structural representation how to explain a nucleoside formation here. So you can write first a pentose ring, either a DNA or RNA you can write. So I will take RNA sugar, a pentose sugar of RNA, that is OH at second and third carbon, it is OH below, CH2OH of fifth carbon above. Then for the first carbon, so we know that OH is above. Now if I number the carbon atom, so to differentiate the number of nitrogenous base with pentose sugar, for pentose sugar we'll give the prime 1 prime, 2 prime, 3 prime, 4 prime, and this is the 5 prime. So you may have learnt, so when you are representing a nucleotide chain, 3 prime to 5 prime end you are going to use for a nucleotide chain. So when you are learning the structure of DNA, that you can recall, so we'll represent that also. Now after giving the position of number, so you try to observe now, so we are having a nitrogenous base either from the DNA nitrogenous bases or the nitrogenous bases of RNA. So I have represented here, it is to indicate RNA. So hence at second position deoxy is not there. So that is oxygen is present. Now try to observe carefully here. Now if this hydroxyl group is interacted with either N9 of purine or N1 of pyrimidine, now the base will be added to this particular position. Now here the base is interacted with a pentose sugar. Now such a particular moiety which is formed by the interaction of 1' hydroxyl group with N9 of purine or N1 of pyrimidine. No need to write the ring structure of base here. If you write base, it is sufficient. So this is called as a nucleoside. Since a nucleoside is formed by the interaction of base with 1' hydroxyl or anomeric carbon hydroxyl group of either a ribose sugar or a deoxyribose sugar. Hope this is clear. Now we'll try to understand a nucleotide. Now we'll learn what is a nucleotide. So again, as said in the beginning, so if a combination of the pentose sugar with nitrogenous base with phosphoric acid, that is phosphate. So phosphoric acid is H3PO4 is known as phosphoric acid. Now, if the phosphoric acid is taken, each hydroxyl group in the solution will donate their hydrogen. So with the loss of 3H plus, so it will be forming the structure like this. Hydrogen will be lost in the solution medium. So with the loss of that, so phosphoric acid will be obtained as phosphate, and this phosphate is what we are going to show here. So when we are learning, so we'll try to learn so how the interaction takes place. Just to show the representation part, I am using this. So concentrate. Now this is the CH2OH. Now if you take the phosphoric acid, so I will represent in this form. So here the interacting hydroxyl group only I will write. Now if these two groups, if it interacts, so OH and H will be removed in the form of water molecule, and one of the oxygen will links the two. Now this is an alcoholic group and this is an acid. Now this is from the acid and this is from the alcohol. Now, the bond which is formed between the hydroxyl group of alcohol with the carboxylic group or any acidic group is known as ester bond. So, esters are the organic compounds, so which are found by the interaction of an acid and alcohol, that we are going to learn in. So, it is alcohols unit in detail. So, just to mention the bond significance, I am giving that information here. So, alcoholic group OH, and this is an acidic group. So the interaction of these two is with the ester bond it is going to form. So that we'll try to represent. Now that OH and OH, if it interacts, so in the interaction one water molecule will be removed and the oxygen will links the two. So this particular bond which is formed is called as an ester bond, and with the formation of this ester bond, a base is attached to the pentose sugar and a phosphate is attached to the pentose sugar. Hence, the pentose sugar is the main basic component, so which is linked by a base and a phosphate, and the resultant structure is called as a nucleotide. The resultant structure, whatever it is formed now, so it is called as a nucleotide. Now here the phosphate group is attached So the base linked with a phosphate so is considered as a nucleotide. So you need to practice how a nucleotide is also formed. So once we learned what is a nucleoside, what is a nucleotide, how these nucleotides will join together to form a polynucleotide chain. So with a simple structural information for DNA and RNA along with their types. So it's a small information that we'll try to conclude in our next class. So the small information, so that structures you try to observe now. So after observing, so we'll try to complete the remaining part in our next class. So whatever I have written, so it's from the NCRT. So how the structure can be represented. Now it's a ribose sugar. A base is attached with 1' hydroxyl group to form a nucleoside. Then if you take a nucleotide, so the base is attached here that you can understand. So if you consider in a nucleotide, a base is attached and from the nucleoside component, it is extended for nucleotide. So with the interaction with the phosphate, once phosphate is interacted at this 5' hydroxyl group of the pentose sugar, so it is leading to with the formation of an ester bond, a nucleotide is formed. So this is how a nucleoside and nucleotide can be represented in simple way. So with this information, so we'll try to stop for today's class. So the next interlinking concept, that is a polynucleotide chain. So we'll learn with a dinucleotide formation and the structures of the nucleotides with respect to polynucleotide chain, as the types of DNA and RNA and the biological significance of nucleic acids with a small concept of hormones will complete in our next class. Thank you.